Well, I'm with Billy Warke now, and I'm on the Groundsman Industries stand. Billy, you've been coming to this show for years. This is where it all kind of started with you guys. I mean, is it 24 years ago now?
It's actually over 30 years
Is
ago.
it really?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. It's unbelievable how time has gone past. But there's a bit of a story behind how Groundsman Industries got formed in the first place. I had served an apprenticeship in engineering as a toolmaker and had travelled the world a bit working in different places. After about 10 years in Canada in the oil industry, I came back home in 1986, as a lot of us tend to gravitate back home, you know. And I started helping out in a family business called Korean Lawnmower Services. It was very seasonal, so we moved into the hire and called it CLS equipment. But that's the background. One Saturday morning, as I recall, a lady came in and asked, did we have a spiker to aerate her lawn? And we did, but it was a push one.
Yeah.
So she took that and arrived in, if I remember, just after closing time a little bit, in a state of distress. Her husband had had a heart attack pushing this machine. Yes, he made a full recovery, but that got me looking at the designs of machines. We got to get a powered one here. You know?
Yeah.
So there's two designs. One is like a barrel with like spikes on it, 6-inch nails. Either push or it's driven. It's called a rollover or a drum spiker. And then there's a crank-driven one like this, whereby the tines are driven into the ground like the pistons on an engine. They're the ones that can really get through the compaction. The rollover one, you have to put a ton of weight on it, and you can't get them very close spacings. So I registered a patent on it, came up with a design whereby the crank that drives the tines in also moves it horizontally, because the machine is moving forward and the tine's in the ground. So rather than pulling and disturbing the surface, it moves it back and brings it out. So it's called elliptical plunge action, as the sign shows here. And yes, you can try and interest companies in making it, but cut a long story short, Groundsman Industries was formed in 1990 specifically to make that machine. I registered the company in 1990.
So 34 years later, it's grown up.
Exactly. I mean, it has evolved a little bit, admittedly, but I think the last change really made to these machines. This is the 460. It's got 4 arms, 60 centimeters wide. It's got a little brother called a 345. It's got 3 arms, 45 centimeters wide, and it has been an extremely popular machine. Built a reputation of being able to get into compacted surfaces for any small area.
Right. Okay.
And which makes it very popular with the likes of cricket. So that's one of the big markets for it. And delighted to say, it is still in demand, and it's still on its pedestal there, you know, like all these years later. So we've moved on to other products. As I say, this one is our latest launch, actually. This is a prototype.
Let's have a look at this. Okay. So this is the same technology?
Same technology, the elliptical plunge action. But it's almost like a hybrid or a crossover type machine, whereby it can go down into do fairways and football pitches.
Okay.
But it can also do fine turf as well. Because of elliptical plunge action, it can move forward faster. The type that just go in the ground, if you don't want to disturb fine turf, you have to go forward quite slowly.
Yep.
Because the type has been pulled out like this. And to avoid that, they very often go in at an angle backwards, so as it's pulling it out in that direction. This can go in vertically, moves back, comes out vertically. So we've taken advantage of that with the different holders that's available. For instance, this cluster holder here, it can move forward a full 100 millimeters and go in and put that type of a pattern in there that you see here, which is ideal for fine turf. But it does that pattern and covers 50 meters a minute.
Right, okay.
So hence the name. It's called the Speed Pro 612. It's got 6 arms and it's 1.2 meter wide. So this is its launch. This is the first prototype of it.
Okay, and when do you think this will be out in the market then?
we're going to bring out the 1.2 meter, the 1.8, which will be a 918 model, and then there'll be one twice that width, which is 2.4. It'll be a 1224 model, and we'll have them all in production by the end of this year.
Okay.
Yeah. We've already got an order today from one of our dealers for the wide one, the 2.4 meter. As soon as it's ready, he says, you let me know.
Okay, so you've not even launched it and you got an order. That's a good start.
Encouraging,
it is, just a bit.
The first time out with it,
The other product that I think I first got to see 5 years ago, is the turf cutter. So how's this gone?
This has been a long development. We have actually spent a lot of years evolving this product. That's the 4-wheel drive turf cutter, and there's a 2-wheel drive, and then there's a big daddy of this. It's got an 8-horse, these are 6-horse, whereby it actually has a guillotine attachment on it. Not just cuts the turf, but it chops it to length.
Okay, right.
And now the latest thing we're actually developing for this, alongside this, is actually the rolling attachment.
Right,
so it cuts your turf to length, whatever length you want, and it rolls it as well.
Okay.
So
it doesn't stack it as well and then ships it, does it? No.
It's scheduled to be available in March, actually.
Is it really?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So we're busy with research and development at the minute.
And you were saying earlier, that's what you're all about. You're an engineer by background, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a tradesman. Like, my hands-on apprenticeship served time toolmaker.
Yeah.
And I travelled around, and I worked in 10 years in Canada in the oil industry. So, as I say, came back home. What was the question there?
The question was, you've got this out in the market now. How's it? You've got those developments. How has it established itself? Has it done what you expected?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This is now our best-selling product.
Really?
It's even surpassed these, and these are actually since COVID, we've had a big spike in sales of this, but this has probably got a bigger market because you've got landscaping and hire shops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For a sod cutter, so absolutely delighted with this product. And the reason the golf clubs love this machine is it's got 2 axles and a 4-wheel drive. It means that the back axle can come almost underneath the wheels, whereas if you only had 1 axle, you couldn't get your blade out of the ground. It has to be behind it, So golf courses, especially those who have turf nurseries, they like to cut really thin because it recovers quicker, and apparently it actually roots quicker, which is quite amazing.
Oh, okay.
So quite often they're cutting on a rolling surface. Because the blade is right underneath the wheels, it maintains the thickness.
Okay.
So it does. So it has really caught on. And then, of course, we've got all the attachments for it as well. You've got the riveting blade, which has got the knife in the center, and it cuts 2 strips for bunker building.
Right, okay.
And then you've got the trench blade. You've got a mold drain blade, and you've got a trench blade, which cuts narrow but deep, 6 inches.
Okay.
And because the blade's so far out and there's an axe in front, it can clear that sort of depth, you know what I mean? So it's quite a versatile machine that way.
Well, it's more than just sod.
Yeah, it is, we call it the Turf Multicutter, TMC.
TMC.
Yeah, TMC 46. Yeah.
Billy, it's getting busy again, so we'll let you get back to speaking to people. And let's hope that ferry's okay on the way back, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks a lot.
Good to see you.
Cheers. Yeah.